welcome everybody to the Summoner Circle. The summoners that launched this thing are here. We are only missing Pin, who has definitely stepped up and become a very major member of this pod. So please feel better soon, Pin, if you're listening, and we look forward to having you back. Gentlemen, I've missed you. It's good to see your faces. We've got so much to talk about, but I think we should just jump right in real fast. I'm going to say what I said to you before watching this, and LFG, gentlemen.
LFG. Oh yeah.
That was an amazing trailer. It was everything I was kind of hoping it would be. I am excited. I'm excited again for the Marvel universe in a way that it's been a bit. They're planting the seeds. There's so much intrigue that's being built up by all these little, I don't know where it's going. I don't know where it's going. I know where it's going. I know what we're gonna get storyline wise, but we're kind of in that space where we know they can't do everything exactly like in the comics. Mm-hmm. So how are they going to do Infinity War? How are they going to do the Infinity Stones? It confused me. It surprised me. I was excited. I loved what they did with a lot of them and how they changed them. And yeah, I mean, Marvel loved it so much they changed them in the comics to match closer to the movies. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for where we're headed, and I think there's nobody better to take us kind of into this trailer than our librarian.
Ooh.
Jay.
Yeah, man. Whew, I am very excited. I mean, this trailer, I wasn't expecting it. I heard this was an extended trailer of the first one, so I was like, they can't possibly add that much more. And boy, did they add that much more. It was so good. This trailer is, I watched it in 0.25 speed with the help of the Canadian lad. And, dude, it's... visually, it's so cool, man. So we kind of pop into Wolverine at the bar, which is a shot that we've seen in so much Wolverine content. I love it. It's in so many things. It was in the Wolverine game trailer as well. I think it's just an iconic thing.
I have a question, Jay. Sorry to already interrupt your deep dive.
It's okay.
I know he's in a bar, but is he in the same bar he was in First Class?
Not the same bar.
Or is it a okay? I was just curious. I didn't pay super close attention, but
what's up? I didn't hear that. Oh, you're cutting out, dude. Hold on.
He asked if it was the one from the first X-Men movie.
The very first X-Men movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. In the snowy Canadian wilderness or whatever.
I don't know. This one is in Canada. There's a Canadian
where he meets
flag.
Rogue, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that where he meets Rogue for the first time in the original X-Men movies?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
But Wolverine in a bar is very, very much a thread throughout all Wolverine mediums. So
yeah.
I mean, it was the intro trailer for the game, as Jay was just saying.
Yeah.
So.
That's what
which I'm so glad that I own a PS5 now, so I can get that whenever it finally comes out. And I'm so excited about it.
I totally agree. I want to see if this is the same thing, because I'm going to look it up real quick. Because now you got me, because there's a lot of Easter eggs, and I want to get into them.
Yeah. For sure. There was definitely a lot, and I'm sure I missed a ton, so looking forward to Jay pointing out the other ones I missed.
Let's see. So they did. Okay. I remember the first one. So he does meet Rogue first. It's not a bar. It's just the underground fighting arena. They were just serving drinks there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So not the same. I couldn't remember, but yeah, not the same. But regardless, still an iconic thing. You said First Class X-Men. There's a couple. He's always fighting in bars in the comics as well. So it's very iconic.
Top 5 best uses of the one F word that a PG-13 movie gets. First Class. So
yeah,
it's funny.
That is. I remember that. All right, so that's just the intro cutscene, like that. All that for the
Yeah,
intro
that's literally the
cutscene.
first
The
5 seconds
first
or whatever.
thing, and it's really funny. So yeah, Deadpool, obviously is coming up to Logan at the bar, um, asking for his help. Like he said, "Hi, Peanut," which is pretty funny. That could be an Ant-Man thing we'll get to later. But basically, Logan tries to pop his claws, but they're slowly coming out. Like it is not fast. It is not a pop of the claws. It is just. And obviously Deadpool makes a joke like this happens to Wolverine's over 40, so which is hilarious, you know. But it also might just be that he's maybe had to deal with multiple Wolverines. So this is interesting of where this takes place in the movie. I'm interested in. And Deadpool obviously, kind of points his gun to the forehead of Wolverine, and it says "smile." And well, Logan did it, and he. I don't know. I don't know if this is a little. This is a little Wolverine who doesn't want to be living type of Wolverine.
Yeah.
And
He's never going to be intimidated, though. That's kind of the whole Logan thing, right? Like, you say don't, he's gonna. So it fits the character well.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and it literally like once he smiles, it like pops the next scene, which is the ending of the first trailer, which is Wolverine being revealed by the sun when they're fighting by the 20th Century Fox logo, which is hilarious. I loved it. Like it's so fun. Like this movie, you wouldn't expect it. A couple years ago when Fox had everything X-Men, and now Disney has everything back, and it's so fun.
Very exciting.
And we get a flashback. I guess we're finding Deadpool with his friends celebrating everyone from Deadpool 2 and 1. But we also see Logan getting a flashback of while Deadpool asks Wolverine like, hey, what's happened? His world went to crap, and you see Logan flashback, which is a cornfield, or not really a cornfield, but a field, and then these giant pillars, which people said are graves, a graveyard, which is definitely Old Man Logan style. I'm very interested to see if this is the Old Man Logan timeline, or at least a version of it, because man, it's really dark. Even Paradox from the TVA says this Wolverine let down his entire world.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad.
Such a good.
Well,
comic.
I mean, we are. Yeah,
Well,
as you go further in, we'll get more to the point of just that's not the only reference to Old Man Logan that we're going to get in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
well, and what's interesting is like there's so many different Wolverines that this could be. Like we have no idea like who this Wolverine is or like what timeline he's associated with. So
Mhm.
it's going to
Well,
be
yeah.
very interesting to find out like who it is. Like I saw one person today suggest like, what if this is the live action version of Wolverine from the X-Men cartoon from the 90s? We really have
X-Men
no
97
or
Wolverine.
X-Men. Yeah, I mean, we
I hope not.
we literally don't know, and so
Absolutely. Well, we know he wears the
it's going
yellow.
to be really yeah.
But
We know he's got the yellow and blue suit.
Mhm.
But other than that, we don't really have any like things to really tell us like who it is, other than the vague hints of like he let his world down and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
that could mean anything.
I
So,
totally
mean,
agree. Like there is a lot of reference to Old Man Logan, but Old Man Logan also is like it's weird because you had the movie Logan, so like are they meaning
yeah.
like it's very different.
Well,
Yeah.
so you have to remember this exists in the Marvel universe, which is so expansive, their multiverse,
Mhm.
that the MCU is part of the multiverse, and it has a number, just like there's 616, there's whatever. Um, so this Wolverine is definitely an is definitely part of the darker timeline Wolverines. So like he's not the ruins one, because that's definitely not the case. He's not dying from metal poisoning. So he definitely is an Old Man Logan of sorts. Like he's the guy.
Exactly.
That is what he is. The Logan we got wasn't Old Man Logan. it was in Logan, that was another Old Man Logan that was not as dark in the world in some ways, but much darker in his soul, kind of thing. Like the Wolvie we got kind of was living a life that he could be proud of after all the pain in Old Man Logan, but like the one we get in Logan, he's just anger and sadness. Like
Yeah.
the other one had kids, like he was
Yeah.
living. This one didn't. So
Yeah.
like what we're gonna get now is so uniquely the MCU Old Man Logan, which opens up so much because we have some actors that like we haven't seen, but I definitely think what's the chances we'll get a blind Renner? We'll probably get a
Oh,
blind
dude.
Hawkeye.
Blind
man,
Hawkeye just
Hawkeye.
cruising through the desert.
He's- From
So,
Noel's
I mean-
mouth to Marvel's ears.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. So
But,
I think
You
that's
know,
kind
because
of what we're
of
doing.
because the rights for certain things are still in limbo land, we probably won't get it. But I'm gonna be really mad if we get Old Man Logan inspired stuff and we don't have hillbilly redneck Hulks. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Didn't he like take over California? Was it?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like the
yeah.
Yeah, I think
territory
so.
that became.
Yeah.
like,
He killed
But,
Avon
like,
and took
I
it
mean,
over, yeah.
they were literally inbred redneck Gamma Clan. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
So
Oh.
at least I listened to the Motion comic today for the show, and it just
It's so good.
it is so good. And at the end, Bruce is like bragging. He's like,
Oh.
the only one that could handle my gamma mutations was my cousin She-Hulk.
It was Jet. Oh my god! I
So
will say
bad.
though, the whole chomp of it all, and just that way he wins is so. It's
Yes.
just so funny because it's the whole thing of like that whole way he wins and the whole battle so perfectly encapsulates even their first like battle. Like Logan's never somebody that the Hulk has ever really been scared of. He hates him because he calls him Pokemon and he hurts him, but he's never scared of him. And Wolverine's always been scared of the Hulk because he's like, this is the thing that might kill me. Like he can bend adamantium, like
Yeah.
he can do these things. But he's always that little annoyance, and he always kind of wins. Like Logan always kind of gets that one up on Bruce. Like he always kind of walks away getting what he needed to get done for the most part. Like even the time where he gets beaten down really badly, he had proven himself enough that he gets his adamantium back from Apocalypse. Like that one time. But there's so many times they've fought, and he always kind of gets what he needs. And this time, you're like, whoa, he finally didn't win. Oh goodness, oh gracious, oh my. So I think it's just a really wonderful little turnaround. Plus, it's, in my opinion, it's where we get the whole, like the Old Man Logan walking away with the little baby is definitely the reason why, shout out to Slayer, why there's a little baby
Yes,
Thanos that exists. I definitely think so. That's always been the nod to that Old Man Logan of it all, because that was just, it added a little bit of humor at the end, because you're like, oh, he's gonna raise the baby. But yeah, sorry for
it's been a
going
long
off
time
track.
since I read it, but I loved it so much. It was so good.
Dude, me too.
It's been a long
Yeah.
time since I read it, but it's a really good
Absolutely.
run. I really enjoyed it.
We have so many things to get through, and we've only talked about 34 seconds of it.
Yeah,
Hey,
or about a minute.
If we
actually.
do a whole hour on the trailer, I'm not mad.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
So
It
it's
would be worth it.
you do it absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Try to get back. All right.
yeah, let's go.
So all right. So Wolverine just doesn't
Okay,
want to
number
help.
35.
Yeah, Wolverine's like, bro, it ain't my effing problem, dude. I ain't gonna help you. Paradox is like, this Wolverine let the world down. Deadpool's really pressing him, like, hey, what the hell happened? And then you get the shot of Wolverine without sleeves walking next to Deadpool, which looks pretty awesome. We actually get the sleeveless Wolverine. How you guys feeling about that?
It's exactly what I wanted. Like, I was
Dope.
really hyped for it. The biceps and everything.
Mhm.
He looks good. He looks. The only problem is he's just too damn tall. He really is. He doesn't.
He's been playing Wolverine for 25 years now.
And
Get over it. It's
always-
okay.
it's my only problem. I love Hugh Jackman. I think Hugh Jackman is a wonderful, wonderful actor. But
He's not a short king.
first of all,
Here's-
he's not a short king, and second of all, Logan isn't a short king. He's a little mongrel of a man that's beastie and smelly and short, and like that
Well,
is
and so here's the problem I have, and it's not with Jackman.
Harry Boys
It's-
represent.
It's my problem's not with Jackman. My problem is with Singer and Ratner and everybody that was involved in filming these things, because newsflash, Ian McKellen is not 5 feet taller than Elijah Wood and.
No, absolutely. They could have
What's
been
it-
shot
like,
so much better.
They had the ability. They could have made Jackman look comic accurate and be short. Like they do it in movies all the time. Like there's a movie coming out with what's his name? The only one that's allowed to be a dwarf. I just forgot what his real name is.
Dinklage. Dinklage.
Yeah, Dinklage. There's a movie coming out where he's playing like a normal sized person or something. Like
Really?
they just filmed him on like a box and
That's by the
stuff.
way.
And so they've had these movie tricks for the whole time cinemas existed that they could have made Jackman be more closer to like the actual size Wolverine is, and they just didn't.
I don't know.
Because like if he was shorter, nobody would complain about it. Because I feel like he embodies the character really well. He's just really tall, So
if he wasn't the star of the show, like if it wasn't, because obviously Wolverine is the star of the Fox X-Men. I would have, like, if he had less scenes, and especially if he didn't have a solo film, and they wanted to scale manipulate him, I think it would have been fine. But because he interacts with almost everyone,
he's so prominent,
it would have been too expensive.
It would have been so off-putting to watch that scale, because you can definitely tell. And even now with the CG, like I know if you guys have watched the Lord of the Rings of Power, they kind of did this where they scaled someone up, and some shots look so good, but other shots don't look that good. It's very finicky.
It probably would have been off-putting for as prominent as he is. I agree with that for sure.
Totally. But I want to see it.
And I don't have a complaint. He was great. I just want to say that. It's just that's a thing about
I want to see Radcliffe play Logan in some form or fashion. Like I really want to. I think he'd be great.
I hope that this movie introduces the MCU Wolvie, because this isn't him. I hope we get him and he shows up and it's Daniel Radcliffe. Like I want it to be, because he's a short little hairy man, and like it will work really well. And I mean, I've seen him have guns on his hands. I want to see him have knives on his hands.
Guns Akimbo. It's funny.
Akimbo was such a good movie.
It was a good movie.
I'll reference that movie as often as I'm given the opportunity because of that, how good it was. We definitely are seeing the a version of Wolverine though in this, and I think that we're gonna look and we're gonna be able to after the movie say, oh, this part's from here and this part's from here and this is the reference to this and that.
Totally.
And I think that's the point of him. He's gonna be an amalgamation of what we wanted. Feige's been decent with doing that, and Ryan's been very smart giving us exactly what we want in the movies. Mm-hmm. So I think if they're smart, this is the Logan that they're going to be like, we should have given you this from day one. Here you go. And then they're going to go, but now this is our Logan. And it's going to be this other person. So I'm very excited to see where it goes. I love the costume though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that has to be what it is, right? Like this is Jack. I know it was supposed to already have been Jackman's swan song, but like this is his actual swan song, and then they're going to introduce whoever will be the actual Wolverine moving forward in the MCU.
I really think this was a favor to a friend and a lot of money. I think that's what it was.
True.
Or they may even go with a different team that Logan's not a part of. I think money wise that would be the worst idea ever, but
no, could
do that.
Hey, we do got Secret Wars. Like he's
gonna show up on the Avengers teams, guys. Realize that. He's been an Avenger for so long now. He's always gonna be around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can't get everyone that's been an Avenger. It's like 500 people.
No, but Logan is distinctly the most marketed character that Marvel's ever had besides Spider-Man.
Oh,
At this
he's
point.
One of
trust
the
me.
big
He was
three.
an He
Yeah.
was an Avenger during one of my favorite runs of Avengers. I love that
Oh,
team with
the
him and
restart? Yeah.
yeah, New Avengers with him and Luke
Mhm.
Cage and Carol and like
So
I love
good.
that team. It was great. But
Such a good little series they had there until Invasion kind of threw that off its track.
yeah, so I love that team. I wouldn't be mad about it at all. But especially if Mike Coulter is back and
Well, I mean, we're hearing
Ritter is
about
back as Jessica
Sentry.
Jones. So
We were
that
hearing
would
about
make
Sentry. There was all that stuff. So, I mean,
yeah.
okay, let's get back to the trailer. I'm sorry. Since
Yes.
patiently going, I want to
We're
talk.
now 40 seconds in. No.
We're at minute 39.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, so they're okay. So we're talking about the sleeveless, right? The sleeveless scene. We first see you see kind of two Easter eggs. You see Liefeld's just feet, which is hilarious if you know the Deadpool creator.
Yes.
Can't draw feet. It's just hilarious that they jab at him. I think they made the same joke in Deadpool 2, so they're just doing that, showing him some love, but making fun of him at the same time. You
He commented
see,
on it on Twitter.
yeah,
He loved he loved it. He
Okay,
loved
good.
that they
Yeah.
referenced it. So
I'm glad.
I was wondering what because I didn't catch that when I watched the trailer, and then I saw somebody mention it on Twitter about them referencing him, but I wasn't sure exactly what the. But yeah,
They
I remember.
look like when you
I remember
draw them, they look
hearing.
like
I remember
little
them talking about how he couldn't really draw feet.
They look like little slippers that come off like little.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
really bad at it.
Bro,
It was-
hands and feet are hard to draw. Like,
Totally.
I've done a little sketching over the years, and like, bodies and faces I can do okay with, but like hands and feet, it's like it looks like a weird alien creature every time.
Yeah, no,
So,
I don't.
understand it.
Yeah, for sure. It takes a
Jay-
lot of
Jay
practice.
does graphic design stuff. I'm sure he understands the struggle of some of that too. So.
It took me a while to nail it down, but hey, I can do it pretty fine. I'm a little rusty now. But
I
it
draw
does
a
take a while.
horse, and it looks like a box with like 4 legs
Oh,
sticking
no.
out of the box, but it's like got no dimension to it. So it just looks, and I don't have like any separation. So it's just this weird 4 legs on one side, flat. It's horrible. I'm not artistic.
So it's like when early AI drew horses.
Yes. Basically.
My sister-in-law, she works for this lady that does like horse-based therapy and all kinds of stuff, and they did a devotional and they were going to put a horse on the cover, and so she was working with Canva's AI just to see like what it would do, and like it would be like mostly a good horse, and there would be like one feature that was completely out of whack, like it would have 2 heads, or the head would be on its butt.
Oh
or,
my
like,
goodness.
or it would have 3 legs, or like there was always like one thing that made it like, oh, we almost got there, but nope, still can't do it.
That's fun.
Anyway, so second 45 of the trailer.
Yeah, minute 140. We see
Oh, we broke a minute. Go us.
we see the establishing shot in the walking out of the skull of Ant-Man, which is so cool, so freaking cool. Cassandra Nova finally getting official reveal in the trailer. Cassandra freaking Nova.
It still doesn't seem real. Like
Yeah. It's
like
such
it doesn't seem.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a real thing. Like, wait a minute, what? We're getting a who?
Yeah.
because I mean, she's not. It's such a wonderful character, but such a reference to like a time period that. Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of right now, but before recently, we had nothing touching on it for so long. People had moved past it. There were so many storylines that had moved past it, and I mean, Cassandra's here, and this is so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
She's such a cool character.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll give a little explanation for people who don't know who Cassandra Nova is, because
Please.
this is a character that debuted
It's
20
a-
years ago.
Good gravy. There's a lot. That's a loaded statement. Let me give you an intro if you're not familiar.
Yeah.
Buckle in, everybody.
Yeah, it's not too long.
You're
It's not
going
too
on a
long.
ride.
Okay. So Cassandra Nova is how do I explain this? Okay, so she is the astral twin by definition of Professor Charles Xavier. In the womb, basically Professor X used his abilities and killed Cassandra Nova, and she couldn't be born. And this kind of goes to Shi'ar, like the Shi'ar religion, and talking about an astral twin. There's always two, but only one can survive, type of deal. And two are apart. They're always connected. So she dies in the womb, and obviously, you guys know how twins work, right? A twin will consume the other one and survive. And that's what they took reference to. But Cassandra Nova, being a astral being, survives and stays, and obviously doesn't have a physical form, but it takes many years, and she uses the DNA of Charles and builds like this weird mesh body. And it's really gross, and it's just really off-putting. But she is a completely psychic entity. She is not like a physical person. It's very interesting. Like even people, like, it's even debated if she's a mutant, because technically she was born through means of using Charles's DNA, which was once hers. And so, is she a mutant? Is she not? Krakoa says yes, but it is really funny that they did debate it, and I love that the comics did that more recently. But yeah, she comes back with a vendetta. Like, she's like, Charles killed me. I'm going after Charles. I'm gonna destroy his X-Men. I'm gonna destroy mutants everywhere. Like, this is what my whole purpose is. So she goes into the physical realm, obviously using Charles's body. She goes to the Sentinel Army, and obviously, like we talked about, E for Extinction in X-Men '97, because that is clearly, it's very referenced the Battle of Genosha with the Tri-Sentinel. It's literally what Cassandra did. She used the Sentinels to bomb and massacre Genosha. Like, that's straight from her comics.
Wild Sentinels in the comics.
Yeah.
But
yeah. She takes over Forge. Another thing is, like, her body fails eventually, so she has to keep taking other people's bodies because she's an astral being. She doesn't have a physical form, so she has to keep swapping bodies. But yeah, she takes over Forge, and Forge, obviously using Forge, she again uses Sentinels. And then she makes these Sentinelites, which we we'll talk about in the X-Men '97 episode, but we kind of get with the Alpha Sentinels. But hilariously, she tries to take over Kitty's bodies, but she can't take over Kitty Pryde's body, which is, I think, is a cool writing there, because Kitty can be intangible, so it's really interesting. And to wrap it up, basically, basically, they take they reprogram the Sentinelites, and they put it in Cassandra's mind so she can feel empathy, which then, so she'll feel bad for everything she's done, which it drove her insane, and then they kind of wrote it out the comics. But they basically made her return, and she was kind of still insane and didn't feel guilty for killing anyone, felt like good about it. So that was fun. So basically, they just had her join the X-Men, trapped her in the past, and she's been there ever since. So that's kind of the wrap up of her 20 years of comics.
So my little thing, the cool part of her character, that astral twin thing.
Yeah.
It's very much the whole, like, good twin, bad twin of it all. Like, they're never good. Like, the astral twin for the Shi'ar religion is our equivalent of like a demon.
Yeah.
Basically, like, she is not good. She can't be good. It's not part of her to be good. And there's only one time where he's good, and it's in a future that never happens.
Yeah.
But she becomes good and helps defeat technically somebody, but it's unimportant. He fights Evil Beast with the good X-Men, and that's it. But yeah, she's an evil being, and she wipes out Genosha. Like, it's her.
So
in the comics, it's her.
With all of that, if this is Old Man Logan instead of Mysterio, it's Cassandra Nova that caused Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
His mind. I think so too.
Yeah. which would make
That's
sense
what I
why
said.
this
Very,
specific
very
Wolverine.
possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And I think he's responsible for the
So-
whole world, everything. Yeah.
yeah.
Jay, and I apologize if you literally just said this, but I zoned out a little bit. So was her debut when she was in Morrison's new
Yes.
X-Men run?
Yep.
Like, was that
Yep.
her
Yes.
debut?
Yep.
Okay.
Grant
So-
Morrison's
Yeah.
new X-Men.
That's pretty much where she lived. She really
Yeah.
hasn't been touched since.
I
the
was
move
pretty
on
sure that
from-
was the first time she was around, but I wasn't completely sure.
She-
Which, if you've never read, hopefully
Oh.
most of you have that are comic nerds, but please go read Morrison's new X-Men run. It's definitely in my like top 10, maybe top 5 favorite comic arcs I've ever read.
Interesting point about that, though.
It might be my favorite, honestly. Like, it's so
Wow.
good.
Yeah, dude, it's really good.
It's fantastic.
And really interesting that series takes inspiration from the original X-Men movies, like the first 3. Like
Yeah,
the
no,
whole
that was the whole point, yeah.
costuming. Yeah, so I mean,
Hey, it's funny.
It's all
Everyone-
coming back to like.
No one even liked it. Like you remember, like obviously I was
I
like,
do remember that.
and,
Yep.
I'm hearing because obviously I just was born. I was born during this run. But
Oh
yeah,
my God.
it was not liked by critics, and it quickly became loved. Once the story was running, and by the time it ended, people were like, I want more.
It's the same thing that happened with Morrison's JLA run. People did not like it at the beginning. They went, well, this is too much power in one team. And then he did this other thing, and then he grew the team even more. And people were like, no. And then people afterwards were like, wait a minute. That was like the best part of the Justice League stuff.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, yeah, Morrison's such an underrated guy. He's very talented.
He might be my favorite writer.
I get it.
I love
I like all
He's
I
of
got
love
that.
so many good
Bendis,
stories.
but Morrison's definitely written my favorite DC stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
I mean it's a
him,
Godfather.
him and Alan Moore. I mean, I like some of Moore's stuff, but
I was just talking about Moore today to my best friend. I was just talking about how amazing Alan Moore is as a writer. And today,
yeah, one of
funny.
the first things because I've talked about this before. Like, I didn't start reading comics until way later in life, and so I was just kind of picking and choosing things. I had read like one story of Moore's, and then there's like this published thing that's like the greatest DC works of Alan Moore, and it's from all different stuff. Like, it has the Killing Joke, and then it's got like a couple of Green Lantern stories he wrote, and just like from random different
All this
franchises and
Swamp Thing
stuff.
and, yeah.
No, I think this one's all DC stuff, but it's like there's Green
Yeah, Swamp
Lantern,
Thing.
there's the Killing Joke. I don't remember if there's any Swamp Thing in there or not.
It would be how he got Constantine into it, so that's why I would have that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
where,
true.
That's where Constantine comes from.
I still have it somewhere. It might be in my office here in town. I'll have to go and I think it actually is
it's
in
a
my
physical
office at
thing.
College
Okay, that's
building.
cool.
So
Wow,
yeah, it was
that's very
like a
cool.
trade paper with like different
Nice.
collected stories of. Let me see if I can find what the actual name of it is. So
That's very cool.
but yeah, I still have it. I'm pretty sure it's in my office. I will try and find it tomorrow, and I will send out a picture if I. Yeah, here it is. It's called DC Universe: The Stories of Alan Moore. Is the name of it. So let me see if it says what all's in it, because I can't remember what all's in it. But so it has. Let's see if it has it listed somewhere. It has the Killing Joke in it, and it has Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, the Superman story, which is a really good story.
Really good one.
And then it's got some other Superman stories, some other Batman stories, I think. It doesn't have a full list here, but anyway, that's what it's called. It's called DC Universe: The Stories of Alan Moore, and it has like, I think like 13 or 14 stories in it. It looks like it's
Whatever
probably,
happened to
it looks
Man
like it's out
Tomorrow?
of print, but they do have some on Amazon. It's like $34, but there
bring it
are
back.
some
Bring it back.
there
to the
are some
Marvel of it
copies
all.
available. So
To bring it back to the Marvel of all, whatever happens to the Man of Tomorrow is part of one of the things that inspired the guy who wrote inspired the Old Man Logan story. It's part of the the dark take of what can happen, where can things go, and
Mhm.
when a hero is tested and what they're willing to give up, what they have to give up, what sometimes happens. It's one of the darkest comics ever. Whatever happens to Man Tomorrow, and there's so much darkness in there, and War's a genius. But yeah, and then like I said, it brings it back into the Old Man Logan of it all, and we go even deeper in that because, as you said, there's the giant Ant-Man body, which
Yep.
is completely referenced from Katie. You tweeted that out earlier today, I believe. Um, it's an actual picture from
From the comic.
the comic. Yeah,
Pim
Yep.
Falls,
if
Connecticut.
people haven't seen Old Man Logan, or haven't read the Old Man Logan comic, Marvel Unlimited, please please. Like I mean, in no way sponsored or anything like that from that, but please go, please go. Well, I don't want people to think
So
I'm
good.
home to some money for anything beyond. This is the most worth it thing you'll do
Yeah.
if you like comics. And please go read Old Man Logan. It's unbelievably good, and it is so different from the Logan movie, and which is independently excellent.
Hmm.
So please, it's so dark, it's so wonderful, it's so terrifying, and it changes the game. You start looking at every MCU, everything differently because you look at these characters and you go, "Huh, imagine that happened," and it just changes the game because it starts making you think, "Oh, the heroes don't always win, maybe."
Yeah.
So that kind of is what it kind of takes us back to Cassandra Nova. She is a character who has won. One of the few villains who has accomplished their goals. Magneto has a lot of things he wants to do, but only in the Ultimate Universe does he ever actually execute a goal like world changing goal. And that, yeah, he dies because he does it. So in the main 616, Max is all talk. Cassandra Nova does stuff. Even APOC is all talk compared to Cassandra Nova. She is technically one of the great. Besides her, Scarlet Witch for No More Mutants, she's the most responsible for mutant deaths
Yeah.
in the history of 616. So
100%.
I am so excited to see her, and that's not even like the coolest thing that was shown in the trailer.
Oh man. Okay.
What came next?
Okay. So So Cassandra Nova was. She obviously. Okay. Let me go back to my frame breakdown. So she was sitting in Professor X's chair, which I find funny, and standing up and walking down the stairs from Ant-Man, which she in the comics also does take over Xavier's body. So I wonder if we'll find out why she looks the way she does. Look really young. She doesn't look off-putting, which I gotta say I'm kind of glad. I didn't want some some really ugly person. Like
you mean you didn't want Cassandra looking like she does in the comics 90% of the time?
Yeah.
Old and wrinkly and
Really decrepit
creepy.
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally was scarred for quite a while from the debut panel whenever she first showed up in New X-Men.
Oh,
Yes,
it's
exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's so
Everything, yeah.
creepy, and
The
also it was
sunken
like,
face,
what? It was also like, what in the actual F did I just see?
Yes.
What's happening?
I had the
Where is
same
the story
reaction,
going?
the same
So,
reaction.
That's why demon sticks in my mind when I have to say demon because
Yeah.
that's how my brain connects. Going, oh, nothing real that's alive. That's born
like
of
that,
people
yeah.
could look like
Yeah.
that. So,
yeah, exactly.
it's hard.
So-
It's hard to look at, but yeah. But I think that also we have to remember her looking like that doesn't mean much. She's a telepath.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
I was gonna get to that.
Well,
it's
see is
crazy,
what she
like,
wants us to see.
I was kind of half distracted when I was watching the trailer, and I didn't pay super close attention to that particular part. And so, I had looked away at something else and then glanced back and saw her, and I was like, "Is that the ancient one?" Because she looks
No.
the
I
way
know.
she looks is
You're not
so
the only
similar
person
to
that
Tilda
said that.
Swinton's ancient one that I was like,
This
wait a
kinda
minute,
looks
and
like
then
Cassandra Nova.
and then so then I saw people on Twitter Cassandra Nova was trending, and I was like, Oh, that's who that was. Okay, because I had totally forgotten that speculation that she was
Hmm.
cast in the movie had come out a few months ago, and so I was like, oh, that's who that was. Because yeah, the way they made up the Ancient One in Doctor Strange definitely had more of a young Cassandra Nova look than what the Ancient One usually looks
Yeah,
like in
which like
comics. But
another thing is like maybe Xavier wasn't born in this universe, and like maybe that's a
Yeah.
difference as well. Why she looks so
Mm.
young and
yeah,
pristine versus yeah.
true.
um,
Yeah, I guess we'll find out eventually.
exactly, and I want to get to the Pimp Falls, like the whole. We see a lot of. I'm not gonna say cameos because they're clearly gonna have some point, but we see a lot of mutants and variants. A lot of returning actors. So spoilers if you really love the Fox movies, I'm spoiling this. But we see Azazel, we see Lady Deathstrike, we see Callisto, we see obviously Pyro. We know we see Toad. I think we might see Sabretooth. We're not really sure. Um,
Which
Man,
Sabretooth?
I don't know. um, there's a few other
I
people. It's hard to
hmm,
tell, but someone
getting,
said, "What's
getting
up?"
Tyler Made would be crazy to come back. Like to get the first one
Yeah,
would be hilarious. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know
Is
what
it
he
Tyler or is it
what's
Liev?
he
I
Like,
think it might be
doing.
Tyler. Actually, I think there was some like rumors about that.
Wow. I mean, what has he been doing? Does he even wrestle still? I don't know.
I don't know. Not that I know of. I
Yeah,
mean,
So, I mean, he
I
was a
haven't.
wrestler when he did that. So, I
Unless
mean, I
he
don't know.
completely changed his look and name and stuff. Like I mean, I follow wrestling pretty regularly. I don't
That's what I'm
remember hearing
saying. Yeah.
anything about him. So,
That'd be
but yeah, he
cool if
was. I
there's,
mean, he was a wrestler.
yeah,
Wrestlers used to be
he
a
was,
really good source of casting. The guy
as
that
we
played
know,
Bane in the early movies was also a
Triple
wrestler. So.
H in Blade.
oh my goodness, really? Come on.
Come on, you know I had
Yeah,
to.
Blade
I wasn't.
Trinity,
I wasn't
amazing.
referring specifically to that, but I do enjoy Blade Trinity. It's a guilty pleasure movie of mine.
Come
Um,
on. The whole she makes her own playlist before
but
going out to lunch
um,
was one of my favorite funny things
you
ever.
know, the guy that played Bane in the Schumacher Batman movies was a guy named Jeep Swenson. He was a '80s territory wrestling guy. Had a military gimmick,
My
and then Tyler
favorite action
Mane
movie
was
of
a
all
wrestler.
time. My favorite action movie of all time, Suburban Commando. Harry Hall Hogan.
Suburban Commando is your favorite action movie of all time?
No, but I do actually really enjoy it. It's very fun. It's like a really
I mean,
fun
it's
old
Hulk
action
Hogan and
movie.
Christopher Lloyd. How can you not? And the
So good.
Undertaker. The Undertaker was one of the like alien bounty hunter people.
Absolutely. Oh, it's such
And
a
Okay, that
fun
kind of
one of
sounds
the other
cool.
one, I can't remember. There was one other one that I think there was another wrestler that played one of the other one. I don't remember who the other one was, but I think there was
There's
two
so many
different like
things.
bad guys
It's
and
such a
stuff.
Okay,
fun movie if you haven't watched it. All right.
all right. So we see that stat like those shots of all these mutants. You see someone in a red and white striped shirt, which that could be a variant of the Russian. Not too sure. Just it's hard to
Mm,
see, but we don't know until we get close up. But really, we see a cameo, and this is really funny from the first Iron Man movie. It's a hot rod that Pyro's
I
on.
saw it. Yeah.
It's got a Iron Man. What do you call them that goes on top? The freaking trophy that goes on
A
the
hood,
yeah, hood, the hood
hood
trophy.
ornament.
Yeah.
Yeah, hood ornament. That's what I'm looking for. Because that's from Iron Man 1. Like, that's the same hot
Hmm.
rod. It's a very cool cameo that you wouldn't really get. You see more of Ant-Man's body. It's his full body, just like Pym Falls in the Old Man Logan comics. You see the hands. It's really funny. It's like some type of... Maybe it's like a gate they open, which is kind of... It's kind of cool, actually. I like that. You see this SUV that keeps getting more destroyed as the trailer goes on, because clearly Logan and Wade are using this to roam the TV or to roam where Eliath is. It's really funny. And yeah, you get Logan saying the LFG. There's a scene that they're inside the skull. Before, like you can't really see some Easter eggs. I tried to, but they're fighting the TVA. So it's kind of interesting if Cassandra also uses her abilities to stop Wolverine from attacking her. But I really want to say is like I wonder if the villain is the TVA or if it's Cassandra. because clearly they're both playing Wade, or we don't really know what Cassandra's angle is. So like maybe the TVA can't be trusted because they're just using Wade to do this because he can't die. Like, why not get someone who can't die to do their dirty work? So I'm very interested. And we kind of get the craziest thing. So obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine are jumping out the eye socket, the skull of whichever Ant-Man it is, into a Doctor Strange sling ring portal.
Yes.
What the hell?
So,
Not on my bucket
my
list.
thought-
Not on my
my
bucket
thought-
list.
my thoughts is that is another deep pull from the Old Man Logan, in which they were just dealing with the stash of goodies after the fall of the heroes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I mean, we might be seeing a shield, we may be seeing a gauntlet that maybe has a repulsor blaster. Like, we might be seeing all the fun gadgets they get to have, and that'd be hilarious. But also, who's to say there isn't some kind of sorcerer supreme? I mean, there's usually one. He might have passed it down. It might be, a character that was introduced, and we've been like, wait a minute, is that Billy? And that'd be really
Oh,
fun,
dude, that would be cool.
because that would branch into something.
The really
that
cool
could-
thing is, especially because, we know that mutants are coming to the overall MCU. We know that Marvel and Disney own all the rights to stuff again now. We could literally go all over. We could literally be going anywhere. Like, I mean, Steven or Wong could be on the other side of that sling ring. An alternate universe Sorcerer Supreme could be on the. Like, we really don't know what we're gonna get. Like,
Yeah,
the
what I've seen
possibilities
from the
are
comic,
literally
busy with
endless. I mean, and from piecing together the stuff from the teasers and the first trailer, it seems like we're also getting probably some influence from Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, and so who know? I mean, from the first trailer, it sure as heck looks like he's in the forest from. Is that Age of Ultron or Winter Soldier when they're in the snowy forest?
Age
It's
of
from
Ultron.
Age of
Yeah.
Ultron, right? Like the opening
Yeah, exactly.
opening scene. So I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, we
So-
literally could be going anywhere. It's really hard to even know what we might be getting. So
I totally agree. I didn't mention
which makes it really exciting, and even though I haven't disliked any of the stuff really, I've liked some stuff more than others, but it's the most hyped I've been for a Marvel release in a long time.
Yes.
Even though I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff that's come out and liked it more than a lot of other people did, I haven't been this hyped for any movie really in a long time.
Absolutely.
Other than I finally watched the third Planet of the Apes, Matt Reeves' Planet of the Apes movie the other day. I finally saw War, so now I'm super hyped for
the new
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes that
dude.
comes out in 2 weeks. I'm super stoked for it because if you haven't watched those movies, if you were like, I saw the Mark Wahlberg one and it sucked, I'm not going to try again. Watch the Matt Reeves ones. They're fantastic. They're
totally
really
agree.
good movies.
I saw
Love them.
I've seen the Mark Wahlberg one, and I like the ending better when it was in it was in a Kevin Smith piece of content, which that's a really good reference if you actually know he did come up with that ending, and he called Burton out for it, and Burton was like, I don't know anything that Kevin Smith's ever done, and it's just wow,
I
way to
remember
say
that.
yeah, that was a whole thing. But I saw that, but I have already seen. I saw the Heston Planet of the Apes, and those were fine. Honestly, the new ones were really good. I've only seen the James Franco one, the first one, but it was really good. When the second one came out, life was already too busy, and one day I'm going to sit down and watch them. But I do love how all the monkeys.
That
and
was me
primates were
with.
getting.
Yeah, that was me with War.
Colin.
I mean, War came out. I mean, it's been years since it came out, and I finally just watched it a week or two ago. And I love the first two. I never got around to the third one. I got busy and then didn't have it available anywhere, and so.
I do love Caesar. He's a good
dude. He's such a good
better man than
character.
me. He's
Andy
a better
Serkis,
man than
man.
me for sure.
Andy Serkis, man, he's just fantastic.
And everything.
Love that dude. Love
So
that dude.
have we hit everything in the trailer?
Yeah. The only thing I didn't discuss is Dogpool. We see, which is
I was gonna
cool.
say that. That was
Yeah,
one of the things I
Yes,
wanted to bring up.
Dogpool.
You also see.
We are gonna be getting some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You see Wade switching from regular guns to golden guns, which probably means he might have swapped them from another Deadpool. We'll have to see.
So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about because we haven't seen it, but we do know by some like not leaks, like this isn't anything like this has kind of been like something that they told us they wanted to do. We're gonna get some form of the Deadpool corpse. So we are gonna and I do believe Headpool is one of the ones that we're supposed to get.
We better get him.
Oh, the best. Like, I mean, just think about the merch they'll be able to do alone. And I think that's what they're I think Headpool is going to be the rival popcorn bucket. That's supposed to rival
no.
the
I heard they're talking
Dean
about
one.
it. It's in production.
Yeah. So
Well, I've already seen screenshots of one that's like Deadpool's mouth or something.
No, that's just
instead of-
that's made by Bosslock. That's just a CG render.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
It wasn't-
people are just
wasn't
talking
legit.
about
Okay.
now.
Yeah,
Just hush.
Well,
Like, they're not gonna.
I saw something today that said something about popcorn buckets with male genitalia or something. So who knows
Oh
what
no.
we're actually going to end up
I mean-
with. I hope that's not the case because even for Deadpool, like I feel like that's a bridge too far. Like, but who knows? We'll see what happens.
As long as it's not the forbidden word that Feige said, cocaine. I like how there's just a whole 20-second ending of the trailer saying that's what's off limits.
That
was
so
funny.
That was so funny.
Okay, I gotta be honest. Like, I love the Easter eggs and everything, but him and Blind Al going through all the different euphemisms for cocaine was my favorite part of the trailer.
Blind Al is such a perfectly cast, perfectly played character that is so.
She is pretty great. Yeah.
But she's a great character from the comic, and then she's even funnier now in the movies.
Yeah.
And the way they utilized her in both movies was so well done.
Dude, yeah.
And
I totally agree.
Oh, she's so great. She's a joy, and I'm happy to see that made me happy because I knew she was back for a few minutes. Like just getting to have her for a little bit is great.
Knowing that she's in the movie.
Yeah, just we're getting more. It's good to know who to bring over with them.
It's really funny. I had not seen either one of the Deadpool movies until I watched both of them within the last few months.
Okay.
Because, y'all, I mean, it's in my name. I'm a pastor. Like, there was this big, kerfluffle in church with church people about how horrible it was and how it's basically porn and all this stuff. And then, I watched the first one and I'm like, I've seen just as graphic as scenes on network TV.
Yeah.
This movie is really not that crazy. It's very the violent scenes are very violent, but as far as I'm like, what is it because he gets pegged and y'all were just uncomfortable with a 1 second gay reference? Is that why you said that? Because I really don't because half the people I've seen complaining about it, I know you watch Game of Thrones and everything on Game of Thrones is way worse than anything in either Deadpool movie. So I mean, I'm like, was it that 1/2 a second of that montage scene? I just, and so I had never watched them. And so in the last couple of months, I watched both of them because whenever I found out that Logan Wolverine and Deadpool was happening, well, I was like, well, I've got to see the first two because there's no way I'm skipping that. That sounds amazing. Yeah. They're really good. The first one is solid. I loved the second movie. I thought the second movie was a really
Really?
well made movie. I really
Wow,
liked it
that's
a lot.
the opposite of most people's takes. Like, not that nobody just said they
Yeah.
disliked the second
The
one.
second
but
one grew
first
on
one
me.
is
Like the
so-
first when it came out,
I
It was
and I mean,
different.
I've only seen both of them once, so I mean, if I rewatch them, my opinion might change a little bit. But
Absolutely, I just love to hear that.
there's
'cause
something,
that's
like,
I
I
do like
think
the second one too.
I think I've just always, like, even in the comics that I've read, I've always enjoyed the Cable and Deadpool interaction.
yeah.
So
Yes.
that being the focus of the movie, I really
Well
liked
cast,
that a
too.
lot. So, Josh
Well
Brolin's
cast.
great as
Such
Caleb.
a-
Yeah, Cable,
You know,
he's fantastic.
shout out to a cool dude from what I hear too. Just like a really nice, down to earth guy. Like makes fun of himself, doesn't take himself too seriously. He got
Yeah,
paid like almost nothing compared to the rest of the stars of both those
he's
movies.
he's one of those guys that I'll pretty much watch him in anything. Like
Hey.
I always enjoy him a lot. So
If
Yeah,
you
he's a
want to
cool
watch
dude.
something that's like new from him, Outer Range on Amazon
Yes.
is so good.
Yeah.
Its second season's
Yeah.
next month. Second season next
Okay, I'll
month.
check it out.
Yeah.
I have to check that
I'm
out.
very excited. Josh
wanna-
Brolin's the same.
I
the main
wanna-
I thought I was
character.
the only one.
Yeah, they
I
love it.
wanna watch Fallout because I haven't had a chance to check it
Oh,
out
I just
yet.
finished it.
Dude.
5 minutes
I've
before we
heard
started this
only good
Because
podcast.
I've
Jay,
had
you
I
wanted
have some
to, episode about that.
Yeah, we'll
correct?
do a full episode on it.
I have some friends that have never even played, like they've never even touched the video games, and they were talking about how much they enjoyed the show. So I'm really looking forward
That was
to,
my wife.
to
I
checking
do
it
like
out.
that you
First
called
episode.
him Vegas of it all, by the way.
Yes.
Do what?
Yeah. Well, we had
What'd you
spoken a
say?
little bit. We had spoken a little bit previously about this. Actually, I believe when we were trying to figure out why Discord wasn't working, we ended up just
Mhm.
talking for a few minutes last Wednesday, and while we were talking about it, he was mentioning how much he liked the show, and I was like, I just want to know where they are, and he was like, I think it's New Vegas, and it's
New
been
Vegas.
it's been confirmed that it's from the New Vegas timeline. So
Oh, okay.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're all canon, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
in
all
that it's in
canon.
the west. It's the West Coast. It's
Oh,
L.A.
okay.
to L.V. That's
Interesting.
where it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to checking it out. I've heard nothing but good things about it from
So good.
multiple various sources. So, this is not in our normal realm of stuff we talked about, but I've been binge watching shows, so I have to talk about them because they're awesome.
Yeah,
and
man, I love it.
I'm one of the hosts. So, and it's on my list. I'm gonna watch Legion. I promise. I am, Jay. But I have been watching these shows that were on FX. But they're pretty recent ones, and all three of them are fantastic. So I finally finished Class of '09, which I don't know if anybody's seen any of it. It's like a mystery, but also it's got a lot of sci-fi elements because it's about the graduating class of the FBI Academy from 2009.
Yeah.
But the show takes place in 3 different time periods. So part of it is in 2009 when they're finishing up the academy, and then part of it is present day, which is like 2020, 2025, something like that. And then the other parts are like 15 or 20 years in the future, like 2055, I think, or something like that. And it follows like these 6 or 7 agents that were all really good friends that were all in the academy at the same time, and follows and it jumps back and forth from like the present to the future to the past, and sometimes in one episode it does all 3, and sometimes they stay with just one. Fantastic
Sounds like a
show.
video game we're gonna play soon.
Fantastic show. It was really good.
Cool,
And
okay.
then
That was on my list.
when I finished it, and I think
Cool.
it's a self-contained thing. Like it wraps up. So I think it's just this. It's like a limited series type thing. And then so I wanted to watch something else similar, like murder mystery type kind of thing. And so I looked at the related shows, and one of the ones that just came out pretty recently was on the related shows. It's called A Murder at the End of the World.
Mhm.
It's also a self-contained thing, like it's a limited series, like it wraps up. But it's about this girl that is a amateur detective, and it also takes place. It shows stuff from the past and then like present day and stuff. But she wrote a novel about her and this guy she met on this like web server for amateur detectives, about them trying to find a serial killer that they figured out that all these missing girls had all been killed by the same guy, and so she and this guy tried to figure out like who this guy was, and so you find out that they did. It starts with her doing a book reading of this book that she wrote, talking about their adventure to do that. But the actual murder mystery of the show takes place in the present after she's written this book, but it also goes back and shows like their journey trying to figure all that out. And I can't really tell you how much more without spoiling what the show's about. It was fantastic. Really, really good show. Ends up having a lot of sci-fi elements to it as well, because they're...
that's what I was curious on. I saw the trailer for that.
So Clive Owen is basically Elon Musk.
Like he's I want to watch it.
So Clive Owen's one of the characters, and he is basically Elon Musk. He's this billionaire tech guy that's like on the cutting edge of all these different tech things, and they talk about him having a space like it's literally Elon Musk. Like they talk about trying to send people to space and all of this stuff. And so anyway, he invites all of these people to come to this remote hotel that he's had built in Iceland to talk about the future of the planet that's in danger from climate change. Mm-hmm. And from there, it just gets crazier and crazier. It was such a good show. And then the other one that I started, I've watched all of them except the last episode. I've got the last episode left. Is called The Patient. And it's Domhnall Gleeson and Steve Carell. Domhnall Gleeson is the guy that played...
I know who that is.
The redheaded dickwad in the new Star Wars movies. I can't remember what his name was in the movies, but... and he was also Bill Weasley in the Harry Potter movies.
He was.
The older brother.
He was also in a really good episode of Black Mirror.
He's been in some other stuff too. Yeah, but that's the things that I know him from.
He's in a great episode of Black Mirror where he plays like a robot sex bot.
Oh, okay, cool. I haven't watched.
Didn't have to say it like that.
It's on my list.
It's what he is.
Oversimplification, but okay.
Black Mirror is on my list of things to check out. So
it's easy to say that. That way it doesn't.
But anyway, so The Patient is Steve Carell is a therapist. Who his wife has just died of cancer within the last year, and he is dealing with the grief of that. And so he's seeing these different patients, and then at the beginning of the show, he wakes up like chained to this bed in the basement of this house. And Domhnall Gleeson is the person who's kidnapped him. He's one of his patients, and what's going on is he's a serial killer who has kidnapped Steve Carell to help him figure out how to stop his urge to kill people. So,
okay. That is not what I thought that show was about.
It's hard from seeing the like previews, like what that show might be, but that's what the show.
Steve Carell, you don't think serial killer movie or show.
Yeah, when he's in a serious role, he nails it. Like he's great. And this show it's been really good so far. The last episode is like 45 minutes, so I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping I can watch it tonight after we get done with our podcast.
If we're doing recommendations of shows to watch that aren't Marvel oriented or comic oriented, self-contained, Shogun.
Yes, I was just about to say that. I have the finale.
Shogun is on my list too, for sure.
Fantastic.
Self-contained.
But I think
excellent.
For the sake of my friendship with Jay, that Legion's going to be what I jump into after I finish
The
Patient.
Especially if you're doing all FX projects.
Unless I watch Fallout first, since there's only one season of Fallout to watch right now, I might watch it first.
We will be talking about Fallout. And
yeah,
I have
the
to
sooner the
go
better.
my next binge. So I definitely think we should be planning that for the next within the next week or two.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to do a full episode breakdown of what we thought.
So I have a question, because it sounds like all of y'all have watched it already. Did y'all watch it like all at once, or what did you?
No,
how did y'all watch it?
I had to watch with my family, so we took breaks every couple of days.
Yeah.
I asked that because I've seen a couple of articles come out that because Amazon usually doesn't drop their stuff all at once, but for this one they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen some people say that they thought that Fallout actually would have benefited from being dropped week to week instead of being dropped all at once. So I was just curious what y'all thought about it.
Moving closer to that model again. People are nostalgic. people don't want TV model because they don't want to have to have channels they don't want, and that kind of is one of the problems we're running back into. But generally, people do like the whole having a week to talk about something.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
honestly, it would make this a lot easier if we had just one episode to talk about. We'd probably be talking about that as
That's true.
part of our
Exactly.
regular podcast right now.
I've really enjoyed that X-Men 97's only dropping one episode a week. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it brings out
And
like
the
climax
other Marvel Disney Plus stuff, I've liked that, you know, you had to come back to it every week. Because sometimes, honestly, like, stuff just needs to breathe a little, you know. Not always, but sometimes it helps to have something breathe a little bit.
We are over, guys. We're over an hour.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys want
Yeah, we can
wrap it up.
We can wrap
Yeah.
up. I mean, we
Absolutely.
talked
We'll
about
wrap
the trailer
it up.
for an hour, which is awesome. And
Yeah, man.
you got a few TV recs as a bonus.
Yeah.
Bonus overrun.
FX makes great stuff.
So-
It's on. You hadn't mentioned it, but it's on Disney and Hulu, which they're combined now. So use either app. It's definitely recommend all those shows. So Coco, like those, all three of those shows are on my list. So I'm glad that I have
Okay.
an
Yeah.
actual someone else
I-
recommended me them.
Yeah, I liked all three of them. They're really good. So, but I am gonna watch Legion soon because I've been waiting a long time to watch it. So
Heck yeah,
it will
man.
be watched very soon. So, which
Awesome.
that can be our last little statement. I shared this with Jay, but we can date. I can't remember what his actual name is, but the guy that played David in Legion has
Dan
been
Stevens.
saying that
Yep.
he's been saying that he wants to reprise his role in the MCU. So.
I think that's something that he's been saying, but I think it's something he might have done already.
Oh,
I mean,
I will go insane.
It's always possible.
I do
It's
think
it's
that's
possible it could happen in July. You never know. I mean, like,
what I'm saying.
I mean,
that's my.
you never
opinion.
know.
I was gonna lead into that as one of the things, but we moved on. So yeah, I
knew it was on your mind. I remember you were. I
He mentioned it too.
Yeah.
He's mentioned he wanted to get back into it, but he hasn't said anything else. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are saying that stuff right now. A few of them have been seen filming stuff currently, so I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying for sure, but I do think. And all right, guys. So I guess we're gonna pack it in for the night, and then we will pick up next week talking about X-Men '97. We should have a bunch of stuff to talk about in game. We will be talking about the event that's coming up for the April event because we have people who are free to play. Jay, hop in during the event just to get a feel for it. There should be some fun stuff. Already start logging in, maybe if you don't already. That way you can pick up the currency. And if
Starts
you're
in 2
listening and
days.
you're not currently logging in,
The Deadpool free stuff starts in 2 days, the 26th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start logging in
so
on the
if you're not
26th.
currently, do it. Start logging in. And we are going to talk about that. We'll talk about X-Men 97. We're going to talk about 8.4, completion exploration. I want to hear what everybody thinks about it. And love you guys. It was great talking to you.
Yeah.
Love you
And
too,
good
Me
to see
man.
you.
too.
Glad to have the gang back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the
All right,
circle was
circle.
complete tonight. So glad to have everybody
Great
back.
night, guys.
Hopefully, Penn, hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, man.
Maybe we could have you
Rest
jump
up.
in with us next time as well.
Absolutely.
Peace out, everybody.